I want to focus and emphasize how important it is to take your thoughts and be mindful of them. I always talk about being the micromanager of your mind and your thoughts, because it's so important to have self-awareness and to realize where your attention is being directed. And when you're in the midst of a mental crisis like I was, consecutively around the clock for 5 continuous years with no break, I was in such a tidal wave of negative thoughts that when I would see a therapist and they would give me this cognitive behavioral therapy exercises to do, my brain was like, fuck this. It felt like the Empire State Building was on fire, okay? And as if they wanted me to go to the dollar store and buy a toy squirt gun to put that fire out. That's how fucked up I felt. That's the analogy, and that's probably doing an understatement. It's probably an understatement what I'm saying, because that's how intense these feelings were. And if you're going through this right now, believe me when I tell you this, I understand. No two situations are identical. I got that, right? But if you tell me, Brett, I am fucking suffering, I'm in mental anguish, I'm going through mental crisis, you know what I say? I get it. I've been there. What can I do? What can I share with you to help you slowly and gradually begin to change that? What I was receiving in the professional medical world was not working. Okay, so what I had to do was find a way that I could get my brain's attention. I had to do that because, as I mentioned before in these videos, the two choices I had when I was going through my mental depression, my mental state of health, I had a choice of either taking myself out with the gun, the knife, or the pills. You've heard me say this 100 times. Or the other option was to get through this. There was no way in hell that I was going to live like that for the rest of my life. So the two choices, I had to narrow it down. So if my son was my why that kept me going, and there were days that I would say to myself, this kid's gonna grow up without a father. This kid's gonna grow up not knowing who I am, okay? And that was scary. I'd drop him off at school in the morning and not sure if I'd be alive to pick him up in the afternoon when he got out of school. So yes, I understand what you're going through. It's not fun. It's mental torture if you're going through the same level of severity that I went through, or even greater than I went through. I understand that. And if you're not going through that, and if you're suffering with mild depression, please understand there's people out there who are going to say the same thing to you, and that is, be grateful that it's not as intense as some of the people that I'm speaking to right now in this video, because there's no good form of depression, okay? I'm not saying that what you're going through is easy. Be grateful if you're not going through the level of severity that some of these people on this video are hearing the video right now have gone through, as I have. So we all need to practice gratitude. Where I was going with this video is that when you begin to slowly focus on your thoughts and slowly change those thoughts, what's going to happen, it's been proven, you're going to start emphasizing positive thoughts into your brain. But it has to be something bigger than it's been, because it wasn't going to be another car, sports car for me. It wasn't going to be another house, a higher paying job, more money, another vacation. It wasn't any more stuff. What it had to be for me, and you got to find your why. You have to find yours, but maybe by me sharing what mine was, yours will be similar to that. What it is that my mind had to focus on something greater than I could possibly even imagine. My intention was to place my attention on something other than my depression. It had to be so much bigger than the depression. An analogy I used a couple minutes ago about the building being on fire and me trying to put the fire out with a toy squirt gun. Imagine that. So what did I have to do? I took my brain and I focused it on the miracle of life. And you've heard me say this umpteen times. You are a miracle in God's highest form of creation. If you think about that and how you were created, slowly take that thought. What's going to happen is you're going to begin to change your brain structure. new neural pathways are going to develop, okay? Neuroplasticity is the real deal. Our brains are not hardwired. Our brains are malleable and changeable. And once you understand that, because I realize something. As I said before, if I can learn the formula and the process of how to be depressed, if I could write the playbook on how to be depressed, and I'm sure you probably could too, right? If we could write our own playbook, here's step A, B, C, D. I could get very specific and tell somebody how to become depressed. Fair enough? And it starts with childhood. We all know that. We take our childhood experiences out to the real world. If we never override those thoughts and beliefs, then we continue building upon those. So what I'm going to liken this what I'm about to say to another example, and that is, you ever go to a store and the sales associate's on the computer and they make a mistake and they have to call a manager to do an override, right? The computer can change, but the person that's on the computer at that time is not able to make that change. So you have to go to a manager, a higher up, and the manager comes in and types in a bunch of stuff and turns a key and this, that, and he or she does a manual override. That's like the brain. The same thing. Your brain has been programmed. My brain was programmed, and our brains are programmed at an early age. So yes, I learned how to keep depression and anxiety at bay. It was under the surface. The feeling of being incomplete and out of balance and not enough and always wanting more was there, but I learned how to manipulate situations to distract those feelings and to get fleeting moments of happiness, just enough to keep the depression at bay. But when my life circumstances got much bigger, that method and that formula and the process I was using no longer worked. And everything came unglued, and that's when I hit rock bottom. In that period of 5 years, I had to get real with myself and look at what got my ass in that situation. So again, if we can write the playbook on how to become depressed, why can't we write the same playbook on how not to be depressed? How not to feel depressed? How not to think negative thoughts? Who would you be if you were not in that mental state of depression? Who would you be without the attachments to the thoughts of anxiety? So when you realize that and you look at it that way, because I'm speaking from pure experience. Everything I'm sharing with you is not like, sometimes when I visit the therapist, I would ask them, have they ever been through this? A lot of them would say no, but I deal with patients all the time. And I say, well, have you ever dealt with somebody who at this level of severity? And they said, no, not quite like yours. So what I'm saying to you is you're looking at somebody, and I'm not the only person out there who was fucked mentally and got to the point I was at. I understand that. Maybe you know somebody who's in a worse off situation who's not here to talk about it. I get all that. But what I'm saying to you is this. What I'm sharing with you took me from the lowest depths of depression, between 25 and 30 meds, and now being on the other side of it with zero medication. Is life perfect? There is no perfection as an illusion. No, but what I can tell you is this. I'm at such a better place in life because of what I went through, and I look at things differently. Thoughts can change the brain. Thoughts can produce neuroplasticity in the brain. Thoughts become things. Okay, so why not start small? Find something. I told you what mine was. Mine was the miracle of life. The miracle of life fucking fascinates me. I got to the point where I took my brain off the depression just enough to focus it on something that I could almost not even fathom. how life is created, how we all start in this liquid form, this liquid substance, and then 9 months later, we are a human being. I got my brain attention just enough that I could focus on that every single day. And as I was doing that, what I was really doing was taking a positive thought to change a negative belief. The positive thoughts will change your negative beliefs when you stay consistent. And that's what I'm trying to share with you. That's what my message today is. Take a positive thought to change a negative emotion, negative state. It's not gonna happen overnight. I used to have a license plate that said, hate to wait. I was that impatient. H82W8. Hate to wait. That's who I was. Impatience gets in the way. Impatience is not good for somebody who needs to get through depression, because it's a process, okay? Understand that's a process, but I can tell you something. On the other side, it is so much better. And the work that it took to get out of it pales in comparison to what it would be like to live in that mental state for the rest of my life. The two choices I had, I narrowed it down to two choices. Again, take myself out or get my ass through it. So not to remain in it. That was not an option. So I want you to take a good look at yourself in the mirror. Find out what's fucking you up. Find out what's taking you into a tailspin. Find out what's causing those feelings of depression, anxiety. You know what I call it? Emotional imbalance. It's an emotional imbalance. Who would you be if you were emotionally balanced? If you had the headphones on and you were listening to meditation and I said to you, who are you without your depression? And just for a split second, you get a glimpse of that feeling. If I asked you, who would you be without your anxiety? Again, just take a second and feel that. And then you ask yourself, if I was emotionally balanced, how would that feel? How would it feel to be complete? You were born complete. You were not born depressed. If you take that, what I just gave, those little phrases, and sit on them and with the headphones on, and just feel what it feels like. Everything is a feeling. I told you this before. From the phone case you buy, to the car you drive, to the glasses you wear, to the shirt, the clothes, the shoes, the handbags, whatever it is, we do everything as human beings for a feeling. People smoke for a feeling. It's not good we all know that, how bad smoking is. But without the cigarette, the body wants more of it, even though it's killing them. Smoking has been proven to lead to cancer. People still smoke because of the feeling, the sensation. The warning is not enough for some people, okay? Sometimes we stay in the state of depression because it's a familiar feeling. I understand that. We settle. It becomes our identity. Again, without the attachment to that feeling, you create a space. In this space is emotional freedom. What does that feel like? Build on it every day. Build on it, build on it, build on it. I told you, I had to say this to myself at least a couple thousand times before my brain started believing in that. And you, me, humans were born as a miracle in God's highest form of creation. Okay? My depressed brain says, fuck you, I don't want to hear that. Okay, say it again. Say it again. Remember, it's a process. When you drop the seeds in the ground, they're not sprouted overnight. It's a process. But before you know it, slower, gradually, you see the I thought I heard a cat in my window. You're going to see the results of that seed. And before you know it, it'll be sprouting. Okay? So, what you want to do is have patience. Have patience and stay persistent and consistent. Consistency is the key. Okay? So, give me the thumbs up DM me, let me know what you want me, what else do you want to hear. Again, I'll say it, I'm saying it, I said it 100 times before, I'll say it again, I'll continue saying it. My experiences, my pain can be your glory. If you're listening to me and you're finding these videos remotely helpful in any way, and again, I'm not telling you to walk away from your therapist like I did. Don't stop the pills cold turkey like I did. I'm sharing this with, that's what I did. It's not advisable, okay? Work with your therapist, ask your therapist, and I hope you have somebody that actually has an open mind to understanding that I'm sure everybody you're working with is gonna support you and say, this is not your destiny. The problem I found with the medical profession was that they wanted to go back and dissect my entire child. I don't mind, I go back to the childhood myself and I realize it, okay? I realize there's where the seeds are planted. There's where those neural pathways are created. It's like when you go to if you go sledding in the wintertime down a hill, right? The first time you go down the hill, the snow is nice and soft, right? You keep taking that sled down the same path, what's gonna happen is that that soft snow is gonna start packing, and before you know it's ice, and that becomes a neural pathway. That's how the brain works, right? You do it enough times, the brain's going to take that, and now it's gonna become a familiar feeling. So we have to go back and override it. Override it. You can do it. You're looking at somebody who did it. I'm on the other side of it. You can be on the other side of it too. And if you are on the other side of it, I want to hear about that. Let's band together and help those people who are coming through it. Let's all get together and let's be a team. Let's be a community of people who can encourage each other, inspire each other. That's what these videos are all about. So I'm open to hearing your situation. You can send me your questions. You can send me your accomplishments, your big wins. You know, if you take these ideas I'm sharing with you and put them in place and promise yourself for 30, 60, 90 days, you're gonna practice them. You're gonna put them in place. And when I would go, not only in my meditation would I say this to myself and hear this and imagine, feel it, now I take it into the real world. While I'm driving, while I'm eating, while I'm walking, while I'm doing everything, the brain is continuously building those neural pathways with different thoughts. The thoughts, I didn't stop with the thought. I said, how would I feel? Remember, everything's for a feeling. How would I feel if I wasn't attached to the feelings of depression? Who would I be if I was detached from the feelings of anxiety? Who would I be? How would I feel if I were complete? If I felt complete? If I didn't feel as if something was missing from my life? Now, in my life, that's how I used to think. Since then, I've elevated it to I am life. When you take it from my life to I am life, it becomes so much bigger, right? I am life. So when you say I am life, you are from the same source of creation, energy, power, God, you name it, the same source that created the entire universe. Think about that. The sun, the stars, the galaxy, the moon, the oceans, the mountains, the air we breathe, everything on this planet was created from the same source that created you. Now, if you put your mind on that for a second, and a minute, and a few minutes, and build upon that, and let yourself experience the feeling of that, this is no bullshit. It works. It really does work. And I know that if you stay focused and have faith and believe that it will work, again, your mind is training the brain as you would a puppy. You know, you tell the puppy what to do enough times, the puppy's gonna do it. And you hear the puppy outside, and the brain, again, is malleable. It's changeable. So just keep at it. If you believe that you were taught how to be depressed, then why can't you be undepressed? Or how would you feel not to be depressed? Right? Look at it like that. what that does, it gives you hope. You're hearing from somebody who's been through it. That also should encourage you and give you hope, right? I want you to feel the inspiration. I want you to feel hopeful, not hopeless. All right, you guys? All right, I'm gonna see you in the next video. Today, make the commitment to be bold, be convicted, and then also I want you to experience the feeling of how you would feel without the things and the feelings you're attached to. Let me know how that goes, okay? I'll see you in the next video.